Okay, so we're going to begin lying down on the back. You can choose whatever you'd like to do with your hips, with your arms when you lie down, but come all the way onto your back. I'm just sitting up, of course, so my voice is a little less muffled. And whenever you're ready to, you can stretch out a little bit, try a couple of things until you find some ease and some comfort. And then have a breath in and sleep as you want. When you breathe out, let your eyes close. And notice if you sense the kind of need to have a thing to do, or a sense of waiting. And let's begin the mindfulness practice by noticing, of course, everything that comes up. But when you find that you're waiting for something, or when you find that you're, in particular, waiting for something to be over, or for something maybe more exciting to start, pay really close attention to that. See if you can look for detail. You can look for detail in the words you use, in the story you tell yourself. You can look for detail in the sensations you feel. So let's use a little exercise to go into the detail. Before we do, just to kind of reset, have a couple of deeper breaths. Maybe double inhales and slow exhales, really slow exhales, feeling a sense of release in the body. And then when you notice, as eventually you'll become lost in thought, when you notice whatever it is you landed on, especially if it's something that keeps on coming up, or if it's a feeling that you don't like I mentioned before, dissatisfaction, or that feeling of anticipation or wanting something that's not happening to start or something that is happening to stop. Take a moment to maybe ask yourself why you want it to start or stop. And the answer will probably be pretty simple, pretty immediate, pretty short. When you find that answer, see if you can ask why that answer. And you might find you come up with another more detailed answer. And then you're going to, after you find that next answer, you're going to ask why that answer, and so on. What generally happens when we do this, when we ask why ABC, we get the answer XYZ. And then we ask why XYZ, and we get the answer, so on and so on. And eventually, when we keep on going, when we get down to the nitty-gritty to why we don't like whatever it is we feel or we think, there's something kind of bigger there, something deeper, probably some fear or a sense of lack. Or needing to prove something. All of our big stuff, we all have it. But when you keep going through this, my hope is that your defenses kind of drop. You find a little bit more clarity. So you may or may not have thought of a couple of things when I asked you those questions. It's fine either way. But I'll ask you to play with this. It might seem like it's a really convoluted thing. It tends, though, to not really take that long. When you find, as we go through our exercises today, when you become lost in thought, when you get really into your kind of meditation zone and then maybe unexpectedly get pulled out of it, feel free to ask yourself why you don't like whatever the experience is. And again, when you find that answer, ask why that, and why that, and so on. So let's have a little bit of time in relative stillness. Of course, move if you need to because you feel pain, but otherwise relative stillness as you lie down on your back. Going to the breath. So we're going to get right into it, right into the breath now. You can begin slowing the breath down. You can begin Ujjayi breath if you like it. But because yoga is, meditation is, in the big sense, about learning a little more about how we tick, how our own minds work, what our habits are, what we want to change, what we want to shift. Use this exercise, asking your whys. And maybe you discover something. More simply, we're going to the breath. Go back to your breath again. And we're going to use this exercise. We'll simplify it. I don't want you to feel like you have to spend your whole practice lost in thought. We're trying oftentimes to do the exact opposite, right? But we'll tap into it every once in a while, just like all this stuff as a tool, just to see what happens, to see what we can discover. But we're going to prepare to move through some asanas pretty soon. So if you'd like to take a couple of deeper breaths to kind of wake up, to excite the body a little bit, you can emphasize a more exaggerated inhale, maybe holding the breath for a couple of seconds after the inhale. You can add some movement. You can open your eyes, whatever you'd like. But within a breath or so, place the feet to the floor like a bridge pose, knees pointing up to the ceiling, arms by your sides. And when you're ready to, let the eyes open. Feel your feet on the floor, more or less parallel to each other as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, feel the tailbone tucked. So feel as you tuck your tailbone and as you press your feet down, whatever is going on in your own legs and your own lower back. So depending on how much movement you have here and your general shape, you might feel it more in your legs, you might feel it more in your lower back, but you're pressing your feet down pretty vigorously and you're tucking your tailbone. The hips, if they're off the floor, are ever so slightly off the floor. Feet are pressing down, you're tucking your tailbone and you're noticing your breath. And then when you're ready to, inhale, lift your hips a little bit higher, feeling like you could move your hip points away from your knees, but still anchor down with your feet. So you're in a little bit more of a kind of in-depth bridge pose. And feel your breath again. Perhaps you start to feel your chest lift a little bit more too. Inhale another time as you're ready. And exhale, release your back down, and let your feet relax. Maybe the knees cave in towards each other. Have another breath in. Let's turn the heels in towards each other some and the 4 feet out a little bit. And breathe out. So inhale again, start pressing down with your feet. Notice what you feel. Exhale, feel that tuck of the tailbone, that posterior tilt in the pelvis. And again, maybe your butt lifts a little bit off of the floor, but you're focusing with most of your efforts on pressing down with your feet, even the big toe sides of the feet, even if that means your knees cave in a little bit, and you're tucking the tailbone a lot. So you're just taking a couple breaths here, pressing your feet down very much, tucking your tailbone very much. Maybe the hips are off the floor a little. We'll all be different there. And then when you're ready, again, pushing into the floor with your heels, with your big toes. Let's start to lift the hips higher like we did in our first bridge pose, and see what you feel here. You might feel a little more engaging in the sides of your legs, especially in your glutes. Still press down very much with your heels and with your big toes. But again, now maybe you're lifting your chest a little bit higher, moving your hip points away from your knees, noticing any shifts in your breath. And then let's come back down. Hug the knees in towards the belly, relax a little bit. You don't have to do anything that requires effort here. We'll meet though this time with the knees pointing to the ceiling, but the feet lifted up off of the floor. Take a breath in from here, and when you breathe out, keeping your hands down, walk your hands forward a little bit, and then lift your head, lift your upper back. So when you were lying down, your hands, and if you were to do that again, your hands would slide back some. We're trying to stretch the hands as close to the top end of the mat, or the small end of the mat that your feet is pointing to. And again, we're doing just a little bit of a crunch. If you want to be a little more vigorous here, perhaps lift a little higher with your upper back, maybe move your belly towards the floor. You know, you don't always have to move the belly towards the floor. Use it as an exercise for awareness, for understanding, not trying to kind of chronically pull the belly in. We don't need that at all. Have another breath here. You know, you can hold your head with your hands if you want some more support on your neck. You might tuck your chin a little bit to take some of the pressure off of your neck. And then when you're ready to, maybe it's the next inhale, release your head and shoulders down, hug your knees in again. Well, when you're ready to, plant your feet to the floor, arms by your sides, breathe in. Exhale, lift your hips up, bridge pose. Inhale, maybe shrug your shoulders towards each other. And exhale, grip the floor with your heels and your big toes, lift your hips higher. Inhale, lift your sternum up towards the ceiling. Exhale, press down with your arms, down with your feet. Inhale, come on down. And exhale, feel much more of your back on the floor. Lift your feet up towards the ceiling. Not towards the ceiling, excuse me, just lift them off the floor. So maybe they're knee height. Take another breath in. And when you exhale, walk your hands forward again. Feel your lower back on the floor. Maybe feel your belly move in towards your spine if you just like to see how that feels. Tuck your chin if that takes any feelings that you don't like out of your neck. If it doesn't help, support your head with your hands. But when you're ready, inhale. And on your exhale, stretch your left leg forward. And then inhale, bring it back in. Right leg forward. And bring it back in. Left leg forward. And in. Right leg forward. And in. Relax your shoulders, relax your head. Place the feet to the floor, but turn the heels to point in towards each other, the 4 feet away. Breathe in, hold on to the floor with your big toes and your heels. Breathe out, tuck your tailbone, lift your hips up. Maybe shrug the shoulders closer to each other underneath you and try lifting your sternum and your hips a little higher. Really grip the floor with your feet. Notice your breathing. And then go ahead and come on back down. Lift the feet up about knee height. Lift the head, lift the shoulders, walk your hands forward some. When you're ready to, squeeze the muscles of your legs, like you could squeeze all of them, like there was nothing but muscle on your legs and you were squeezing it all in towards the bone. And then reach your right leg forward and bring it back in. Squeeze your legs and then take your left leg forward and bring it back in. Squeeze your legs, right leg forward and in. Keep finding or just feeling that sense of squeezing in. Left leg forward and in. Go ahead, relax. Do whatever you want. And again, in particular, if you find it's useful to you, and I really do think this is an interesting exercise to play with every once in a while, so I'm trying to plant the seed of it. And we'll start just with the exercises. If you don't like what you feel when you're exercising, but it's not because of it's dangerous, right? It's just because you don't like it. Ask yourself why, and then why again, and then why again, and just see what happens. So let's lift the feet just like we did before. The knees are moving away from the belly some, and you're tucking your tailbone again. Now this time, instead of squeezing the muscles of your legs, you're going to keep your legs as relaxed as you can. Lift your head, lift your shoulders, support your head with your hands if you want to. Maybe walk your hands forward. Let your legs just hang out. Hardly use them at all. Reach your right leg forward. Take your right leg in. Reach your left leg forward. Really relaxed leg. Take it in. Right leg forward. Lift your upper back. Right leg in. Left leg forward. Left leg in. Relax. Have a breath. And we're going to do one more round of that. One more round of back bends. One more round of those kind of intense core abdominal leg exercises. It'll be over pretty fast. Take a breath in, your feet relatively parallel to each other. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, lift your hips up. Maybe bring your shoulders closer to each other underneath you. Lift your hips as high as feels okay. And then feel as you're in the pose, like you could squeeze everything. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Like you were engaging all of the muscle in your body. Like you were actually getting stronger just by engaging, just by squeezing. And then stay in the asana, stay in the bridge pose, but relax. And just notice what you feel. And come on down, nice and easy. Tuck your tailbone, feel your lower back on the floor. Lift your feet, lift your head, lift your shoulders. Squeeze your legs. Maybe you squeeze your arms. Maybe you squeeze your core. Really squeeze again, like you could engage every muscle, every skeletal muscle you've had. Reach your right leg forward and slowly back. You can inhale or exhale, reach leg forward if you want. Left leg and back. One more time each leg. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Forward and back. Squeeze your legs. Squeeze even your feet muscles and then relax. Turn the heels in and the forefeet out. So the hips are horizontally rotated outward. Hold on to both your feet, lift your hips up. Settle your shoulders and your arms in a way that feels really good on your neck and on your spine. Lift as high as you want to. Now hold on to the floor with your feet. Push down, down, down with your arms. Squeeze as if you could squeeze every muscle of your body and notice your breathing. Every muscle. In the front, in the sides, in the back, just feel that sense of squeezing in, everything in. Now hold the asana, hold the pose, but relax. Relax as much as you can, and then start to come down. Lift your feet up about knee height. Lift your head and shoulders. See if you can, and it might weirdly be difficult to do this. Relax as much as possible as you lift your upper back. Reach your right leg forward and back in. Relax everything as much as possible. Left leg forward and in. Relax more. Right leg forward and in. Left leg forward and in. And release your head and your feet and your everything. It might feel really sweet to go into a little twist here, drop your knees to one side. Have a breath or two. And switch sides. If you'd rather do a different type of twist or a different asana altogether, just because that feels good on your back, please do. Whatever you need. And we'll climb up onto hands and knees when you're ready to. Fanning out the fingers. Now, of course, this idea of squeezing all of your muscles simultaneously, there's a lot to feel when you do that. But when you engage one muscle in a certain way, it can make it hard to engage certain other muscles in the same way. So we're not technically contracting every single muscle in the body. But the activity, the level of activity I'm sure you feel is there, right? So point your nose to the floor, bring your back neutral, maybe close your eyes. And when you're ready to, just imagine you can engage every skeletal muscle in your body. That includes your fingers and your toes and every single thing in between, even your face. You don't have to do that. If it feels too silly for you, you don't have to, but maybe furrow your brow, clench your cheeks for a second, squeeze every single thing, every single part of you, squeeze, 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 and just notice how it feels. Imagine you could squeeze your back muscles and your torso, the front of the torso, and the sides of it. Your fingers all the way up to your wrists, to your elbows, to your shoulders, your upper back, even your neck. And then notice your breath and relax. When you're ready to, as relaxed as possible, as if you weren't using any muscle at all. The body's just kind of stacked in these lines. Like it's the architecture of the shape that's holding you up. You don't have to do any work. And stay as relaxed as you can. Lift your sit bones, sternum, and face. Stay relaxed here. Tuck the tailbone under. Move your back up towards the ceiling. Drop the head. Don't do any work. Sit bones lift up. Sternum, nose lift up. And exhale, tuck under. Keep on going. I promise you we will be doing some strengthening stuff. We already have. I'm sure you felt it. But for now, I'd like for you to really try not to feel any squeezing, any contracting, even any aggressive or any type of stretching even. Just don't work here. Imagine you were trying to send the body the signal that you were attempting to use the least amount of energy as possible, zero work at all as you move through these poses. And you'll probably notice that certain things react a little. Like when you lift your sit bones, you might find that your feet move. You might find that your shoulders are hiked up when you lift your face. You might find when you tuck under that your elbows move. Just notice when you don't try to control the body, you're just moving into and out of these poses, what it kind of does on its own. It doesn't matter what it looks like. But then eventually, point the nose to the floor, bring your back to neutral. Open the eyes if you have them closed and feel that again, that sense of squeezing, that sense of engaging, like every muscle you had was fired up, but you can still breathe really well. Keep all that engaging, lift your sit bones, lift your sternum, lift your face. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, keep squeezing, tuck the tailbone, arc your back, drop your head. Inhale, sit bones up, stay engaged, like you're trying to make the body work at this even more. And tuck under, and keep on going. Again, it's not possible to engage all the muscles simultaneously as you move through space. We're just imagining that and feeling that sense of squeezing in towards the bones. Everything squeezing in towards the bones, in towards a center point in your body. And then when you're ready to, sit up on the knees, shake out your wrists. Now from here, Again, I know we're doing a lot of tailbone tucking stuff today. It's just for this, not for always. Feel as if all of the muscles in the back of your body, all the muscles you can't see, and it doesn't matter if you know where they insert or what they're connected to or what they do or what they look like, just imagine everything in the back of your body engaged a whole bunch, contracted a whole bunch. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the whole back of your body, back of your legs, back of your back, even back of your arms. And then inhale, lift your chest up. Stay so engaged in the back of the body, lift your chest, lift your face. Squeeze the whole back of your body. And sit up. Place the hands to the floor. And when you're ready to, feel as though you could squeeze the whole front of your body, your thighs, the front of your legs, your abdomen, even your chest. Squeeze, 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 and then round back into cat pose. Squeeze the whole front of the body. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And now let's flow a little bit. Go ahead and sit up. You can shake out your wrists anytime you need to. Imagine you could squeeze the entirety of the back of your body. Squeeze it all. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, squeeze the front of the body. Bring your hands to the floor. Cat pose. Squeeze all the front of your body. Come on, back up. Squeeze all the back of the body. Lift your chest, look up. Hands back to the floor. Squeeze all the front of your body. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Cat pose again. One more time. In this camel pose, without the hands touching the body if you can, engage the whole back body, lift your chest, and then engage the whole front body, round your back, flex your spine, drop your head, cat pose. And then go ahead and make your way into downward dog. And let's be a little less kind of squeezy. You might just stretch here, pedal through the legs. Allow the body to do a more natural, a more realistic spreading out of the effort. So a reminder, I know I'm saying this a lot lately, but it's worth remembering. When the body is functioning pretty well, when it's well organized, if you like those words, there's often less to feel. That doesn't mean if you feel a lot, there's something wrong with you or your body's unorganized. But note that when you're moving really freely, really easily through space, there is a mix of engaging and relaxing. And a lot of it you can't feel, and it's perfectly fine. So from your downward dog, shift your weight forward into plank pose. Bring the shoulders over the wrists and look forward. Feel as though you could squeeze the entire front of your body, the front of the legs, the front of the torso, even maybe the face. And then relax the whole front of your body. Imagine you can squeeze the whole back of your body, the back of the legs, the back itself, the back of the neck, the back of the head. And then again, engage the whole front of the torso, front of the legs. Squeeze, 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 just see what you feel. And then engage the whole back of the body, the back of the legs, the lower back, the mid back, the upper back. And then go ahead, lower your knees. Lower your torso, squeezing your arms as you do. And then stretch your feet back. Maybe take a moment to relax. Sometimes I find that when I'm practicing this sense of engaging, I lose hold of the breath a little bit. So it's really smart to remind yourself to keep on noticing your breath, keep going back to it. Reach your hands back and let the palms flip up to face the ceiling and the wrists relax. When you're ready, inhale, lift your chest, lift your shoulders. Maybe lift your hands if you want to. And then as you exhale, stretch through your toes and lift your legs up. Inhale, lift everything a little bit higher. Notice what you feel. Exhale. Inhale again. The body will figure this out. Exhale. Inhale again when you're ready. And exhale, come on back down. Now this time, before we lift up, maybe again, you shift on your pelvis, stretch your legs back, see what you feel, find your breath. Imagine you could engage, you can squeeze all of the muscles in the back of your body. Now again, these muscles are in different directions, they're pulling and pushing different things. We're not technically squeezing every single thing there, but just imagine everything in your back body could squeeze down towards the bone. And then go ahead and lift your legs. your arms, your back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Every part of the back of you engaging, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Lift, lift, lift. And come on down. Place the hands wherever you'd like them for a regular cobra pose. And inhale, lift your torso up some. However high you want to. Notice your breath. Feeling your hands pulling down and back. And maybe go a little bit further forward, a little bit higher up, and come on down. Press the hands into the floor. Lift yourself back up to hands and knees and back into downward dog. And let's travel to the front of the mat. Again, when you get there, release, relax, drop the head. Sway your torso side to side if you'd like. You can nod your head yes and no. But again, going into that deeper sense of release and relief. So not a lot of effort put into squeezing or engaging anywhere. And we're going to slowly roll up to stand. Eventually dropping the arms, stacking the body, and relaxing the eyes a little. Inhale to reach the arms up towards the ceiling, maybe look up. And exhale, dive forward. Inhale, lift the back up some and look forward. Release the fingertips, step the left foot back. We're going to put the left knee down, all the way down on the ground. So pat up underneath it, of course, if you want to. Bring the hands to the front leg. So when you're ready, you're going to imagine again that you could squeeze the entire back of your body. Now, don't forget the front leg. It might feel a little bit weird because our legs are doing very different things here, of course. But imagine you could squeeze every part. So your calves, your hamstrings, and both of your legs squeeze in and up. Do the same with your glutes, with your back. And then go ahead and lift your arms. Feel that sense of squeezing in everything behind you. And then find a hint of a back bend. Go ahead and sit up. You might release your fingertips to the floor for a little break. You can straighten your front leg. So again, I know I've said it enough, but this isn't perfectly accurate as far as anatomy goes. It's an experiment. You're now going to do the same thing, but imagine you can squeeze the whole front of the body. So when you're ready, sit up. And then feel that sense of engaging in the whole front of your body. The muscles in front of your shins, your quads, that sense of squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Your abdomen, all the muscles of your chest. Lift your arms up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. The whole front body and lean back again. Breathe. Squeeze everything in the front of you in towards your midline, in towards the center point in the body. Go ahead and release your fingertips to the floor. Lift the back knee up. Spin the heel down. Warrior two. Let's take a little break from the squeezing stuff. You could, if you wanted to, you could squeeze everything on the back of you, on the sides, and the front, and just see what happens. But note that even when you're told to specifically engage one part of the body, right, one specific muscle, what the body is doing to execute whatever you're asking of it is always more complicated than that. It's always more than that one spot. Even if you're targeting that one spot or that one muscle, so for the less than half of the pose, you can try to stay in it and relax, which is what we do as we move about the world, right? The body does it in a way that requires the least amount of strain as possible. We want to be good at that. We want to be able to move through the world without discomfort. So feel free to let go a little more, to release a little bit more. And reverse warrior as you're ready. Lean over your back leg. Just being with your breath. And let's bring the fingertips down and step back, downward dog. If you'd like to move through vinyasa, feel free. You might stay really engaged, squeezing everything as you shift into plank. Squeeze everything as you lower down. Squeeze everything as you find your back bend. And as you head back in a downward dog. But then maybe, because it's equally useful and equally good, move through a vinyasa without working. Leaning forward, letting the body figure out how to move through space without the specifics, without all that extra energy. And go ahead and play. You've got some time on your own. We'll meet walking up to the front of the mat, folding forward again. Inhale, lift the back up some, look forward. When you're ready, lower your fingertips and send the right leg back. I would say, everyone, I didn't say this to the other side, but you might not want to send your right leg back as far as you possibly can, just because it might inhibit how far or how much you can engage when we do these experiments. So go ahead and pile your hands on top of your front leg and just relax for a moment. Feel free to close the eyes if it helps you tune in, but again, engage the whole back of your body. This will be difficult to do with the front leg, but feel like you could clench your calf and your hamstrings, both legs, your whole back, lift your arms, and then go ahead and lean back. Like you were contracting all of the muscles in your back. Remember, this isn't because the muscles in your back reach around in some senses and connect to muscles in the sides, and then eventually muscles even in the front of the body. It's just an experiment, but hopefully it helps you notice how strong you are. Come on back up, relax. You might fold over your front leg, give the body that sign that you're easing up, you're letting go a little, and recuperating, so we have a little more energy for the next one. Plant your hands back on top of your front leg, find your balance, find your breath. Imagine now you could squeeze the whole front of the body, in front of the shins, in front of the femurs, your whole front of the torso. Lift your arms, again, contracting through the whole front of the body, lean back and see how different it feels. Release your fingertips. Lift the back knee. Settle the heels to the floor, warrior two. And again, notice maybe what is the loudest thing to you. The thing that maybe your nervous system is considering a problem that needs to be solved. It's probably something that you feel or something that you think. And maybe ask and listen really well. Ask why. Why have you drawn that conclusion? And then when you find the answer to that, ask why again. And it's a lot of people's experience that when you keep on asking the whys, eventually you're going to end up stuck in your values. Noticing that it's because something is very important to you. Maybe a little less effort for the next couple of breaths in the pose, a little more ease, a little more softness. There's so much more going on in exercise and in yoga asanas than engaging the muscles. Go ahead and go into a reverse warrior. Bring your hands down. Step back, downward dog, child's pose, vinyasa. And again, I'm not saying that engaging muscles is unimportant. Of course it is. But what's happening on a cellular level, what's happening in your nervous system, so much is going on. Feel free anytime you want to take a break, to take it easy. To spend a little more time investigating what you're really curious about. And to go to your breath. Go to your breath again and again. Especially when you find yourself trying to fill the silence. So we're going to move through some more flowy, kind of back bendy stuff. Nothing dissimilar to what we've been doing. But let's travel up to the front of the mat and fold forward. Lifting halfway, folding again when you're ready, and coming up to stand. And relaxing the arms down. When you're ready to, inhale, take your arms back up if you'd like to, but exhale, lift your left foot up off of the floor. Just in a mostly relaxed manner for now. Imagine you could squeeze all of the muscle in the back of your body, in the back of your legs, and then start to kick your left foot up a little bit, and maybe lift your chest up some too, tracing your eyes up the wall towards the ceiling. Squeeze the whole back of your body, and then slowly step your left foot back. We're going to release the knee to the floor. If you want to put your hands down first, go ahead. And from here, engage the whole front of your body. If it's feeling too complex, or if it's not really happening, just feel a sense of engaging in your abdomen. Like you could tuck your tailbone and move the front of the rib cage down. And then, even though you're engaging in the front of the torso, lean back. Bring your fingertips to the floor, fully relax. Step forward, don't control, just step forward and fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. And inhale, come on up to stand. Relax your arms down. Lift the arms, but only if you want to. Lift the right foot for sure. Engage all of the back of your body. Again, it doesn't have to be too complex. Just imagine just put your attention there, put your focus in the back of the body and squeeze. And then start lifting your right foot up higher. Find a back bend by lifting your chest, maybe lifting your eyes, squeeze the whole back of the body. Even if you've got the teeniest, tiniest back bend, that's perfect. Just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then step your right foot back. Release the knee to the floor, maybe put your hands down first, and then put the knee down and lift back up. Now imagine you can contract, engage everything in the front of your body, even as you lean back. It's a little more complex here. But all you have to do is squeeze the front of your legs, squeeze the abdomen, bring your fingertips down, relax everything. Step forward and fold. Inhale, lift the back up some. Exhale, fold forward. Come on up to stand. Relax your arms down. So we're gonna do that a couple more times, a little tiny bit faster. Lift the arms if you want to, lift your left foot for sure. Imagine you can engage everything in the back of your body and lean back, lifting your left foot, finding it, whatever back bend feels good, step your left foot back. Place the knee to the floor, make sure it's comfortable. Squeeze the whole front of your body and lean back again. Fingertips to the floor, step forward, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Fold again, exhale. Come on up to stand. And relax your arms. But then maybe lift them right back up. Lift your right foot for sure. Engage the whole back of your body. Find even just the teeniest back bend. You might just lift your foot a little. You might just arc your back a little. And then send that right foot back. Release the knee to the floor. Squeeze the whole front of the body. And then see if you can lean back. Again, a little goes a long way, so it doesn't have to look extravagant. Bring your fingertips down. Relax, step forward, and fold. Inhale, relax your belly, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold again. Come all the way up to stand as you're ready to. And release your arms. Last time. Arms up if you want to, left foot up. Find your back bend. Step back, lower the knee. Squeeze the front of the body. Find your back bend. Release the fingertips. Step forward, fold. Inhale, lift the back up some. Relax forward, breathe out. Up to stand again. And arms down. Last one. Reach up, lift your right foot. Imagine you could squeeze the whole back of the body before you do your back bend, while you do your back bend, even when you come out of it. And then send the right foot back. Releasing the knee. Squeeze through the front of the body. You get a very different sensation, but engage, engage, engage. Just think you're squeezing in. And then release your fingertips. Lift your back knee, step forward, and relax. Inhale, lift your back up some. Exhale, separate your feet from Malasana. You can put your fingertips to the ground if you need that extra support, or to take the pressure off your knees, but relax your hips down. The heels can be up or down, whatever feels better on your back and your feet, whatever you want, as much space as you want between your feet. And just a couple of times. Again, just to kind of get this action down. Feel just a sense of squeezing everything in your squat. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze your muscles and relax. Squeeze again like you were bracing your whole body, but you're still breathing, and relax. One more time, squeeze and relax. Come to sit. Come to lie down and relax. Or when you're ready to. With the feet to the floor and the arms by the sides, let's lift up into a back bend. Bridge pose, you can do wheel pose if you feel up for it today. And again, it's not nearly as simple as there are these straight lined up muscles in the front of your body and then some other ones in the back of your body. Everything is so interconnected and intertwined, and nothing works in isolation. But feeling that sense of engaging, of pushing, of pulling, of relaxing, just to become a little bit more aware of what sensations, what actions does your body really enjoy? What do you feel really curious about? So maybe it's new, but you like it. We're going to go back up. So come down if you haven't yet, take a break. You can do feet parallel or feet turned out, legs together. Again, whatever you're most curious about. But let's lift back up.
Remember, sometimes it is absolutely okay to go into a pose and not engage your muscles. So you kind of relax when you're there, just let the body figure it out because it will. Oftentimes the engaging is done to execute a certain action or the appearance of a pose or a trick, like something fancy or just kind of getting one part of the body to go somewhere. Come on out of your back bend if you're not there, if you haven't already. And let's do something that feels really gentle and sweet on the body. Let's start letting it understand that we're not going to be doing any more squeezing. Just go to your breath. And maybe if it feels like you might not have even noticed if you're holding something up, not letting it release to the floor, just notice. You might find there's a way you can settle a little bit more, shifting your limbs around, your neck, your head. Now let's go into one last short twist. Drop your knees to one side. We didn't do a lot of twisting actions, although you probably did at least a little, depending on your body's stuff. Rotation in the spine is something that we do all of the time in real life. But we're just trying to turn ever so gently here for the sake of stretching in a nice, sweet way. No work. Particularly because we want to relax now and we didn't do a whole lot of crazy twisting. Let's go to the other side. Again, not a lot of work, just find, even if it doesn't match what you did on the previous side, just find what feels really good, really easy. So you can just collapse right into it. And then let's go into Shavasana. Come on back to center. Stretch your legs out. Get comfortable. And from your resting pose, have a double breath in, just a deep breath, and a slow breath out.
And invite again, more and more ease, more of a sense of settling. Of course, the way our mind and body works has so much nuance. There's so much context. I wish I could find and then share exactly what we need to do to never feel any pain, to never have anything kind of go wrong or feel any discomfort ever again. But I have a hunch that might be the thing that happens when we no longer exist. As long as we're here, we'll have to experience those things, of course. So if you find as you rest, if you're puzzling over something, or maybe if this sticks sometime tomorrow or the next day or whenever, and there's this thing in life that is happening and you don't like it, or you want it to stop, or you want to have more control over it than you have, maybe take a moment to sit in a quiet room with your eyes closed, or maybe with a pen and paper, and ask yourself why. Why don't you like it? And then when you find that answer, ask why. Why is that the answer? And then when you find that, ask why again, and so on. And you will again probably be stuck with what matters most to you. And that's what we're trying to fuel when we practice yoga, just the stuff that matters the most. So as you rest, feed only that stuff. And if you'd like to stay resting for a little longer, please do. And just like you can feel a sense of engaging or contracting throughout the whole body, you can imagine or sense a stretching and expansion, a pushing out of the whole body. So maybe you do that now. Maybe you stretch your arms and your legs away from each other, and imagine you could stretch the entire front of your body out. Or you could stretch the entire back of your body, or the sides, or everything all at once. And if you'd like to come up to sit, pretty soon roll onto your side and up into a comfortable seat. with the eyes rested again, having just this short moment in the body. You have investigated so thoroughly this past hour. Maybe you feel you can sit upright with a sense of ease and balance. And have this very short moment to yourself. If you'd like to fold forward, bring the hands behind you. Have a breath in and breathe out, fold. And thank you very much, everybody.